This is the Four Principles, Season 2, Chapter 1. In this episode, we will be talking about hierarchical and tautological stacking of perceptual experiences to preserve continuity. In Season 1, Chapter 6 of the Four Principles, we talk about continuity as the quality of our intentional action following the path of our thoughts. Continuity is preserved by nonlinear intersections through postural releases. Reverse substitution events, where acquiescence is followed by negation, tend to involve actions reactive to discomfort. Reverse substitution events, which are reactive, preserve an existing continuity according to the tautological flow, or they reform a new continuity according to nonlinear intersections. In the podcast series entitled The Telescopic World, we talked about how perceptual experiences are stacked, such that local actors have emotional objects, which have analogues in the lives of global actors. The idea was that we all have lateral alters, whose actions relative to their objects of consciousness play out by extension of our analogues locally. Traditionally, this effect is top-down, such that the higher in priority establishes shifts in how we relate emotionally to our objects of consciousness locally. This means that those global objects are tied to objects in the lives of those who are lower in priority. This of course means that the tautological and hierarchical flow, by establishing priority, also establish lateral alters, who traditionally shape how we interact with our objects of consciousness locally. In other words, there is a resonance between the reactions of those higher in priority and our reactions lower in priority. Stacked perceptual experiences play out in dialogues between local social participants. In effect, you will be playing two roles, having multiple conversations, as many lateral alters you have, with another person locally playing the counterpart, in a series of overlapping narratives. Although ordinarily top-down, from global to local, this telescopic effect can be reversed. If you can identify the analogues to your objects of consciousness, you can predict how shifts in how you relate to them will impact global events. Stacked perceptual experiences, the telescopic effect, plays a role in continuity for the local actor and the global actor. Preserving that continuity in the emotional reactions of the local actor preserves the telescopic link to the global actor. Likewise, shifts in relationships between two local actors can play out globally if they have lateral alters globally which align. The concept of multiplicity, explored in the original series, How to Create a Glitch in the Matrix, documents the experience of multiple narratives occurring simultaneously, two or more dialogues, with overlapping alignment of the spatial plates and the same emotional orientation between two lateral alters. Experiencing multiplicity reveals the stacking of perceptual experiences and the telescopic effect linking lateral alters. However, stacked perceptual experiences can also occur between spatially proximate subjects, when those subjects are linked by the tautological flow of consciousness from vessel to vessel. Tautologically, the leader becomes the incoming consciousness for the next in line, and the second in line, incoming consciousness for the third, and so on and so forth. Thus, spatially anchored objectives, or emotional narratives, produce alignment of lateral alters locally as well. Continuity in the actions of a subject are preserved by a pairing of dialectical positions amongst local actors and global actors. That is, sometimes to preserve continuity, actors which are antithetical in purpose must be linked both globally and locally. This means that one global actor will act as a handler for the other local actor, and vice versa, mirroring downward. This means that the same global consciousness or lateral alter will follow, or precede, the local actor by stacking with others proximate locally to ensure continuity in the local actor's actions. The existence of lateral alters who double as handlers at cross purposes ensures resonance between the local actor's objects and the global actor's objects, who is antithetical in purpose. Likewise, handlers may also skip from relationship to relationship of the same type, preserving continuity in the experiences of the local actor by imposing emotional content top-down. Finally, handlers can apply this top-down effect for different purposes. Some may wish to prevent stacking of the local actor according to certain relationships. That is, handlers can establish preferential expectation matching to preserve their stacking at the expense of some other local actor. In other words, some global actors may target particular types of relationships to eliminate the possibility of stacking between the local actor and others according to that particular type of relationship. This may be ideologically driven, or it may be driven by ensuring alignment of the spatial plates through faith in some particular worldview. As Season 1, Chapter 6 indicated, continuity can also preserve a particular version of the past in the present. This means that the ability of a handler lateral alter to impose top-down on a local actor particular relationships or emotional state serves the added purpose of consolidating a new past following broken continuity both locally and globally in response to nonlinear intersections. Thus, telescopically linking has an impact on what present becomes the past by consolidating continuity according to the global actor's emotional analogues. That's the end of the podcast for today.